All right, so India's economy is going through some huge changes right now. This week, we're going to unpack a massive cash injection from the central bank, some brand new rules for AI, and, what all of this really means for the country's future. Let's dive right in.
So first things first, let's just look at this number, 2 lakh crore rupees. I mean, what does that even mean? Well, to put it in perspective for you, that's about 22 billion US dollars. That is an absolutely staggering amount of cash that India's central bank is getting ready to pump into the system. Okay, so the big question, right? Where is all this money actually going? What's the plan here? Look, this isn't just about plugging some leak in the system. No, this is a really strategic move to grease the wheels of the entire economy. And it all kicks off with the banks. So that brings us to our first section, the big economic boost. The number one goal here, and it's a big one, is to strengthen the whole financial system from the inside out. You can kind of think of the Reserve Bank of India, the RBI, as the chief mechanic for the economy, making sure there's enough oil in the engine so it doesn't just seize up on us. And at the core of all this is a concept called banking system liquidity. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's basically the financial system's emergency cash pile. It's the money that banks have on hand ready to go so they can give out loans for new businesses or for mortgages, things like that. If that cash pile gets too low, well, the whole economy can just grind to a halt. So how exactly are they going to do this? Well, the RBI has a very specific game plan, and you can see it laid out right here. We're talking about a series of massive government bond purchases and a huge currency swap. This isn't just a one-and-done deal, a single shot in the arm. No. This is a carefully planned, month-long campaign designed to flood the system with cash and get people and businesses spending and investing.
Okay, but having a stable economy at home is just one piece of the puzzle. With that foundation getting stronger, India is now making some big strategic moves to roll out the welcome mat for global business and talent. So let's talk about how India is going global.
And first up, this is a huge one for anyone in the global talent pool. India is completely changing how foreign professionals get the green light to work in the country. The goal? To slash all that infamous red tape. The new process, which you can see right here, is honestly pretty simple. An Indian company just generates a sponsorship letter online, the professional uses that to apply, and that's it. Seriously. But what's the really crucial part? No more getting bounced around between different government ministries for approval. You have no idea how big a deal this is. This one change could save companies weeks, maybe even months, when they're trying to bring in the best people. All right, so that's people. Next up, the focus is shifting to finance and making trade smoother. India is working hard on new agreements to make it way easier to do business and invest across borders. And a perfect example of this is a new deal with New Zealand. I mean, just look at what this covers. It's about making their electronic payment systems talk to each other, setting clear rules for how data can be transferred safely, and just ensuring fair play for everyone. This might sound like nitty-gritty stuff, and it is, but this is the kind of work that actually makes global trade happen smoothly. But, attracting foreign business isn't just about having easy visas or slick trade deals. It's also about something a little harder to define: trust. So India is launching this whole new initiative to build up global confidence in the quality of its products and services. A new mark of quality, if you will. And they're calling it the Q mark. Now, this is not just some fancy logo. It's actually a QR-coded seal that anyone, anywhere, can scan to check the credentials of a lab or a hospital or even a small business. The whole idea here is to shift away from the old, slow, inspection-based system to a much more modern, trust-based one. And it's all powered by new digital platforms. Well, all this talk about digital platforms and modernization brings us perfectly to our next big topic: how India is getting ready to shape its digital future. We're talking about the massive challenges and, of course, the opportunities of the tech revolution, especially when it comes to AI. And really, it all boils down to one of the trickiest questions that policymakers all over the world are wrestling with right now. How should AI treat creativity? When a machine learns from human art, from our writing, from our music, who owns the result? And maybe more importantly, who gets paid? And this really gets to the heart of the debate. On one side, you've got the creators, the artists, the writers, the musicians. They're saying, hey, our life's work is being used to train these AI models without our permission and without us getting paid. But then on the other side, you have the AI developers, and they're arguing that if they can't access this giant ocean of data, innovation is just going to grind to a halt. It's a classic standoff, really, protecting creator rights versus fueling AI innovation. So India's looking at a potential solution, a kind of hybrid approach. A new government paper is suggesting this. What if we created a mandatory blanket licensing system? AI developers would have to pay a fee to use copyrighted stuff for training their models. Then, a new organization would be set up to collect all that money and hand it out as royalties to the creators. And, importantly, the AI companies would have to be totally transparent about what data they're using. It's an interesting attempt to find a middle ground.
So regulating big tech is one way to look out for people. But India's also rolling out new rules that affect citizens way more directly. We're talking about everything from how they vote to how they invest their own money. This is about protecting people and the markets they rely on. And here's a really cool example of this in action. The Income Tax Department in Pune has set up a 24/7 control room for the upcoming local elections. The goal is super simple, to curb the misuse of cash and other valuables. It gives regular citizens a direct line, a toll-free number, WhatsApp, email, to report any funny business they see, any attempts to unfairly influence votes. It's all about upholding election integrity. Now, on the investor side of things, SEBI, the market regulator, has tackled something that used to be a real headache, getting a replacement for lost share certificates. They've made the rules way easier. As you can see here, especially for smaller amounts, the paperwork has been cut way, way down. This is a huge quality of life improvement for the average, everyday investor. And, protecting people isn't just about making new rules. It's also about fighting straight-up misinformation. And this quote is a perfect example. A fake government circular started going viral, promising to extend some really important deadlines. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs had to jump in and clarify that no, they never issued it. And they had to, because if businesses acted on that fake news, well, it could have led to some serious financial trouble.
Which really brings us to a super simple but absolutely critical takeaway. The lesson here? Always verify. In this age of information moving at lightning speed, the only safe thing to do is to check any news or notification directly with the official source. Don't just trust a forward on WhatsApp.
All right, so we have covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about pumping cash into the economy, opening up for global trade, wrestling with the future of AI, and even fighting fake news. So what should you be watching next? What are the big takeaways here?
Well, if you're a business leader, it's definitely time to get ready for these new digital systems, both for quality and for how you deal with investors. If you're an investor, you'll want to keep a close eye on how that New Zealand trade deal plays out, and of course, track those government bond options. And for literally everyone else, the message is loud and clear. Stay vigilant and always, always verify your information from the source.
And all of this leaves us with one final big picture question. Are these the building blocks for India's economic future? We can see all these different pieces being moved into place, right? Stabilizing the economy, opening up to the world, trying to get ahead of the AI curve. But maybe the real question isn't just if these are the building blocks, but what kind of future are they actually building? Is it one that's all about open innovation? Or is it one of tighter control? Now that is the real story to watch.